thing that I wanted to touch on that's actually really important. Once you get some search terms from Google Trends, you want to see who else is actually using them. You want to see what the competition's doing, and you want to look at really what what search results pop up, because that might tell you that either that audience is not the right audience. If the top result is something like, let's say for this case, instead of online games, it's like casino games, then I need to figure out better words to target. And I should probably do that up front just so that I can organize my site structure, which I'll talk about more in other videos, and also organize like metadata and things like that. So when you do get some potential keywords, potential queries here, then you'll want to go ahead and take those. So right now we're looking at the top searches, so like games free online or play games online, free games. We'll go ahead and use an incognito window, and that way it won't have your personal search history and data, so it won't skew the recommendations toward you as an individual. It just helps to give you a little bit better sense of the search results that most people will see. I look at it as like averaging it out to more demographics. Play games online, play games online with friends, play games on Zoom. You see what auto-populates? So that gives you some idea of what might be there and what might be really popular right now. Ours was play games online, so I'm just going to click into that. But all the other results are really relevant too. So if you see something that helps you or gives you another idea, then use it. These are tools. So here we see the first result, Arcadium.com, and then this is kind of like a little trick that you can do using schema.org tags and your site structure. So I'll talk about this in further videos, but you see how it then goes to free online games. If you look at where my mouse is hovered, in the bottom left corner, you'll see that the actual site URL is www.arcadium.com/free-online-games, just like this. And they did that for SEO purposes. So if I'm going to go ahead and open this in a new tab, we'll let that load, and then I'll show you a little bit more. We can see what we have, we can see what our competition is doing. So we know up front, are these people who are way too big for us, or do we potentially have a niche? So let's go ahead and see what they've got. Free online games. I will accept cookies because that's just what I've been doing. It looks like they have categories, home support, all. So, they pretty much dive right into it. These must be pretty popular games, being that they're at the top. And they've got probably, I'd guess, dozens, if not hundreds of games here. If there's no page 2, we'll just go with dozens, but lots of different games. Looking at the variety, it's heavily skewed toward like puzzles, crosswords, more traditional games. That seems to be some of my, that's kind of some of the audience that I want. I'm not talking about doing anything like Halo. So for me, this is probably a really good competitor that I can learn from. And I'll show you how to do that later on, but that's good to keep in mind. And we look at the other results, Cartoon Network HQ, Dash Games, that's what people ask. You can dive in to see where the responses are coming from. This is from agame.com. What games can I play for free? So we know that's an opportunity we can take advantage of in the future, is figure out how we can get our information on one of these people also ask answers. And then we kind of scroll down and see what all the top results are. And that's really helpful for us. But this is a pretty broad search term. So let's go into one that's a little bit more specific to my audience. And I'm going to go with card games in this case, because one of the games that, actually the first game that I made that I wanted to be the focus, is like a combination of Mad Libs plus Cards Against Humanity. So it's got a card game element to it, and it also has a fill in the blank element to it. So it fits into this card games online with friends niche or search term here, and I can make it a 6-person card game. I set it to 4, but if this is a good query, I mean, why not, you know? So I'm going to take both of these. I'm going to see if there is much competition for 6-person card games. And let's see. Because if this is an unexploited niche, then, you know, this is something where I found out just by going online, looking at Google Trends data, that this thing I hadn't even considered is out there. And I know that's a huge category and that's an opportunity. So, you know, the first results, this is the blog. This doesn't look like it's actually even giving you the games. It's just telling you. It's got a list. And then card games for 6 players. These are all basically like posts. Let's see if this one has an actual game. It might. No. So, I mean, this is a great opportunity for me. It looks like there's no competition here. So I need to bear that in mind. And then let's go to card games online with friends. So I'm going to go to google.com, card games online with friends. And you can see, look at all these good results that populate. So I'm really excited, you know, just seeing what's in here. Card games online with friends, games online with Zoom, with friends free, friends Zoom, video, friends Cards Against Humanity. So I'm even going to take a screenshot. I'll just hold on to that for later. And I'm going to remember that. And let's go to what my keyword was, my search term was. And you'll hear me interchangeably using keyword and search term. For the purposes of my usage, search term and keyword are the same, but they are different things when you dive into it. So if you hear me use one versus the other, consider it the same for these purposes right now. So here, you know, our top thing from April 2nd is, again, a list. And then we get into what looks like real game sites. This looks like traditional card games. This is by no means as competitive looking as the search for card games online that brought us to Arcadium. So that's really interesting. Let's click in here and just see what's going on. All right. See, this is pretty cool. This is a really cool way to break it up. So we've got all of these games, and you can see in the bottom left, if I hover over the link slug, which is what that, kind of what the path name after the domain name, after the .com, and the path name is everything after that, basically. That's often called the slug for SEO. So the slug is the name of the game, which is really useful for SEO. And that was kind of like a pun, not intentional. So here, this doesn't have a lot of content. It's really just a lot of links. These are probably, let's look at them. Let's see what they are. I'm guessing it's like L1s, but maybe they're in a nav element or something. No, they're L1s, they're H2s, so that's like a section header. I would expect, yeah, an H2 makes sense there. I was thinking this would be in like a nav element, but this is treating them all as different sections, so yeah, that's really interesting. I might just do a new Chrome window because I've got an extension that will tell me some information about, and it's called, what's it called? SimilarWeb. It doesn't work for every website, but it'll tell me if this website allows it, and it doesn't look like it does. It'll tell me traffic. Oh, there we go. So yeah, this is telling me traffic through the month. Not surprising that we hit a peak in April. It's probably like between March and April, and then it started to subside with things reopening. So I'm gonna do the same thing for Arcadium, and let's see if they'll show me. Because I would bet this is going to be like 10 times as much traffic. Maybe not that much. We'll say like 5 to 10 times. Um, let's see. And this will tell me the size of a potential audience. Now, that doesn't mean that I'll get even a percentage of this. It'll take some time, period. All right, so I wasn't too crazy when I said 5 to 10 times. We're looking at, 4 million visits, and this is much steadier. So this tells me that the demand here is definitely far higher and far more steady than what we've gotten visits over time. So that's really good to know. So what I'm going to do is keep in mind my niche, because this is still a good amount of traffic. This is still plenty of traffic that I'd like to get a piece of. But I want to know, I'm going to block those. I want to know that I also have content that other people are going to like. That's not just going to keep me in this one niche, because if I can get access to, let's say 8 times as many people, then that's going to be really important for me. And then let's look at one more. Let's just check out bingo. I want to check out, let's start by typing in bingo in Google search and see what happens. Bingo card generator, that could be useful. Bingo games, bingo Austin, Texas, which is my rough location. I'll go online. Yeah, see, that, Zoom just took off, man. So let's look at this. This is virtual bingo, so that might be helpful. How do you play virtual bingo on Zoom? Where can you go on Zoom? These are all, people were clearly doing the same searches that I'm just doing and targeting it. So let's go ahead and look at virtual bingo. And this, this isn't all that impressive. I can easily do better than this. So let's see what they're reaching. Now I'm guessing this is going to be probably smaller than what we saw in Cards Mania. Let's see if I can see anything with SimilarWeb. Come on. You know what? That's pretty close. This looks definitely higher. Definitely at its peak, it's higher. I think this is probably more, because what? July is 352. What are we here? July here, 215. Yeah, so I was wrong. Virtual bingo. So yeah, if I'm targeting these 3 things in different ways, then hopefully I can grab a share of that. All right, and let's look at this goodhousekeeping.com article, see how we could get on there. Yeah, this is mentioning some of the games, so I would bet that some of these searches, this is also going to be a great idea for me to think of, other games that I need to make. So I'm excited about that. Let's do this. Let's see what this answer is. Nerdschalk.com. I think that's right here. So let's check this out. This will be our last one. They are heavy on the ads. They're making money off of this. printer. See, this is where mine comes into play. I'm gonna let the user make their own board. It's gonna be nice and easy too. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it for free or charge, but I'm gonna give some default board options, and then we'll kind of go from there and iterate, because I think to give them, free boards shouldn't be too hard, but I will have to pay for storage to keep those in people's accounts, and I also want to give them enough options for squares that they don't have to create all of them, because regular bingo has 75. So I want them to be able to use like a default and then add on to it. So I think it's gonna take a little bit of work to figure that one out. All right, so we're back to similar web. And by the way, yeah, so this one doesn't have any insights. No big deal. I'm not sure if that's just because they don't share insights. It looks like if you don't use Google Analytics, then it doesn't come through. So I'm guessing similar web uses like Google Analytics tags. I don't really know. All right, well, this is really, really helpful. So it's kind of helped me. It's helped me a lot in sketching out some of the decisions. I took some screenshots. I'm going to go back and watch this video, make a plan, and I'll show you what my plan looks like and how I'm going to incorporate it into some of the development. But for now, the biggest next step for me is to move everything from React Native to Svelte. Started that process, got to get the functional MVP done. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about it, but it's work yet to do. So hopefully that'll be done about 2 to 3 weeks. All right. Thanks, everybody. That's all for now.